Thank you so much for joining today, Lydia. We really appreciate your time and energy and being here today. Let's get started with a little introduction. You can tell us about yourself and your current role, and also what inspired you to join the technology industry, and what your journey into the industry was like.
Sure. I'm Lydia Logan. I'm the Vice President for Global Education and Workforce Development in Corporate Social Responsibility at IBM. Say that 10 times fast. My job is really to lead all the programs in education and workforce development that IBM does around the world for social impact. What led me to this work is my parents always said, do well, you can do well and do good at the same time. And they inspired me to pursue a career doing that. For me, it's really been about bringing educational opportunity and economic mobility to people in the US and around the world. I started out early in my career, starting with an ed tech nonprofit that was working locally in Washington, D.C. And from there, I moved to working with, some of you may have never heard of it, but the founding CEO of America Online. And he really had a similar vision to bring technology access to communities around the region. And from there, I expanded. I did the same sort of work in philanthropy and with associations nationally. Ultimately, I ended up working with running the Verizon Innovative Learning Schools program, which again was a national ed tech program helping to bring skills to teachers and students in communities around the country who might not otherwise have had access to the technology or the training. And when I moved on from there, I came to IBM to bring the skills that I had and my passion to a job where I could do it globally with IBM and the technology and the talent and innovation that we share. So that's really been my journey. It hasn't been a direct path, but it certainly has had common themes around education, technology, access, mobility, and making sure that everyone has a chance to bring their talent to participate.
That's so inspiring, hearing about your journey and also how you were inspired by your parents and just how you've been passionate about empowering people through technology and education is really awesome to hear. Throughout your journey, I'm curious, what challenges have you faced? And I'm sure a lot of our viewers here today are curious on how you stay motivated and resilient when navigating setbacks and moments of doubt.
Well, there will always be challenges, no matter what it is that you do, right, at different phases in your life. Some of them are small, some of them are bigger. I think the thing to remember is if you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, you can always recover. I try to think about challenges as learning opportunities. So in the moment, I may be disappointed and discouraged, but in the long run, what can I learn from this? How do I grow? How do I recover and move forward? In some organizations, we've talked about failing fast and failing forward. One of my favorite mottos is function in crisis, finish in style, right? When things are tough, don't stop, keep going. There's always a way forward. You have to, keep your cool, figure out what it is, and move on. And, this is not the individual mistakes that you make are not the sum of your worth or the sum of your career or even the sum of your year. So try to keep that in mind, right? Keep them in perspective. Don't make them bigger than they are. Recover and continue.
Yes, I loved the point about failing forward, and our viewer in the comments below, they mentioned it perfectly. Challenges make us stronger, and they give us the knowledge to know how to move forward. So thank you for that. And a lot of our viewers also really resonated with that question, which is awesome. My next question for you is more on the technical side. What are some technical, or what are the most important technical skills individuals should focus on developing currently in order to succeed in our fast-paced industry of today?
Sure. We know from many surveys that we've done, interviews, focus groups, studies. I'm part of a group focused on skilling with the World Economic Forum. IBM has conducted surveys with CEOs. About 50% of our workforce will need to get new AI skills as a result of this innovation and the way that it's changing how we work. It's not only changing how we work, I say it's how we, in school, work, and life. So getting understanding generative AI, understanding basic concepts about AI altogether, understanding how to protect yourself in cybersecurity and how that's connected. You don't want to be the one using some tool that's neat and new and innovative, but also is not that secure, and you're the link that opens up your organization for a cyber attack.
Yeah.
So it's understanding how cybersecurity and your information are connected to using tools for efficiency, for learning, for basic research. So I would say learn prompting, take an AI fundamentals course. We offer one on skillsbuild.org. It's the program we run around the world. We offer it in 20 languages, and there are up to 1,000 different learning opportunities on it. If you don't know where to get started, by all means, we'd love you to start with us at IBM. But get those foundational skills. Understand how they save you time. It will make things easier, whether you're a student, whether you are, a young adult, a young professional. You can get your first drafts done easily, but you still need that human problem solving, design thinking to understand how to refine things. So don't lose that, right? The human skills are just as important as the technology skills, how to collaborate, how to communicate effectively, and making sure that you know how to work in groups and teams. So first, I'd say make sure you've got foundational understanding of AI, how to use generative AI in today's world. If you want to go a little further, you can learn no-code coding. And then make sure that you're on top of all of your human skills, and then sometimes workplace skills like project management and ways to manage work through agile processes and things like that. All of those are things that are really important in today's world.
Sure. Yeah, and we had a comment below, and she's wanting to confirm that the website you mentioned was IBM Skills Builder, and that's
it's skillsbuild.org.
Skillsbuild.org. So there you go. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, in this constantly fast-paced industry, knowing how to utilize a tool like AI is definitely a step in the right direction. And you were going in this direction of the next question, so I'll ask you, beyond technical skills, what qualities or experiences have helped you thrive in the tech industry? You mentioned those workplace skills and those soft skills, but I'd love to know more about those qualities and experiences that have helped you thrive and put you or have taken you to where you are today.
So I'd go back to communication. It's always important to be able to communicate your ideas clearly and effectively, both to your teammates and to people, above you in the chain of command, to be able to share your ideas. But I'd say the other thing that's really important is to always look at the work that you're doing and see where there are gaps, identify the gaps, see what you can do to be a problem solver. Are you able to come up with some solutions to things that are challenges that other people either may not have seen or may not have thought about? Leaders are always looking for problem solvers. So problem solving is something we won't be able to completely automate right out of the hands of people. So I would say communications, problem solving, and design thinking are other skills, right? How do you think about where you want to be at the end and work your way backwards and create a plan that gets you there? Those are all things that are really important. And again, we have a lot of those design thinking courses on Skills Build. So not to just be skills build, but we designed it with you all in mind. And so we want to make sure that you have what you need in order to be successful.
That's awesome. And it's great to hear about such an accessible resource like Skills Build that's available to everyone to learn these awesome skills and qualities, like communication, design thinking, and also that just aspect of constant problem solving and not just being used to the status quo. I think that's definitely a quality that can take anyone really far in any industry. So thank you so much for sharing. Kind of taking a pivot into a more Girls Who Code oriented role.
Mm-hmm.
Those who have done programs with Girls Who Code will recognize our value of sisterhood. And I'd love to ask you, how has sisterhood and mentorship played a role in your career growth? And what advice do you have for young women who are seeking that support?
Well, you all probably can't see it because you only see me from Europe, but I have my IBM Women's Ally t-shirt on today. I'm a huge believer in sisterhood.
Yeah.
I went to a single-sex school, all girls from 4th grade through 12th grade. Such powerful experiences, bonds, and understanding that there is nothing women can't do. Nothing. And so I have, I always try to surround myself with smart, passionate, ambitious women who are supportive. I think that's really important. And to identify those women who are around me who may need a little extra support and mentorship. I always make sure that younger women on my team are supported, that they're either mentored by me or other women who are maybe more advanced in their careers. And for all of you out there, I say find some mentors, create your board of directors for your life, and make sure that there are women on it who represent the things that you're interested in, passionate about, and who you can look up to and who have, an opportunity to help you. They may not be able to talk to you all the time, once a week or something like that, but you can check in with them at meaningful periods of time, and they may all have different specialties. But I think having a network of women in your life is just, priceless. So I'm a huge believer in it. I'm passionate about it and proactive about making sure that's the way that my teams run, and that the communities around me are full of positive relationships for women.
Yeah. That I loved how you phrased that board of directors for your life. I think that's such a awesome way and perspective of thinking about mentorship and just learning from your network and just being around your network. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a LinkedIn connection. Network is not only professional, but it's how you connect with others, and it's those really meaningful connections that have an impact on you and how you look at the world. So I loved that term, board of directors for your life. So thank you for that. Kind of building off of this question, what advice would you give to young women wanting to pursue a career in tech?
Well, things are changing so fast, right? Everyone was thinking for years about engineering, developers. I think all of that is still true, right? The organization is Girls Who Code. You need to know some basic coding, you need to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But as the technology advances and AI becomes more sophisticated, you can actually prompt it to create code. Now, it may or may not create code better than humans can, right? Again, back to that human element that needs to manage the technology and spot where it's, not doing the right thing. You have to think about lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is really the key today. It's not as though you can finish a boot camp or finish a college degree and that's the end of it. The half-life of skills is getting shorter and shorter as technology progresses faster and faster. So what are really relevant skills today in 3 years or 2 years may not be the right set down the road, but get started. We're already talking about quantum skills and what will be solved with quantum and how we can start thinking about preparing people for those careers. So, lifelong learning is really the key. That's the skill. Be curious, earn credentials, earn degrees, but always be learning, always be curious, and make sure that you're staying current with what the market demands.
Yeah, especially I recently graduated, and one thing that I was really anxious about post grad was, will my learning become stagnant? And that's really up to the individual of making
Absolutely.
sure that they not only build that foundation, but keep up with, especially in tech, the emerging trends and the emerging technologies that are being utilized and predicted for the future. So I definitely resonate with staying curious, and
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't just look like being in school, but also taking the extra steps to be active and stay in the know and stay current with technology. So thank you. Um, Speaking of the future, Girls Who Code is on a mission to reach 5 million girls and non-binary individuals in the next 5 years. What do you envision the tech industry will look like in 5 years?
Well, I think it's going to be people managing agents. So, we have individual contributors, we have managers who manage teams, and
Mm-hmm.
what's coming are managers who manage teams of agents. So, AI agents who are able to act on very specific tasks that have been trained to do certain things. And that's where the future is. We already have agents coming out now, right? We started out with chatbots and we moved to assistants, and now we're moving to agents.
Yeah.
The difference is you may prompt an assistant to give you an answer. The agent can act on that answer and say, would you like me to book that ticket that you've identified? I can do that for you. I already have access to your credit card. I know your preferences. I can put you in an aisle seat. So all of those things that we first relied on, say, a travel agent to do, and then we were doing it on our own, now can be done with an agent. And we'll be using those kinds of agents across the board. So that's an example that may be from your personal life. But at work, you might have agents who are putting together project plans for you. A different agent might be pulling some of the basic research. A different agent might be working on creating images that go with this project plan. So you've got one that's like a designer agent, one that's a research agent, one that's a coding agent. So they could be doing lots of different things, but that's the future. It's people managing agents to get work done faster. Again, we always have humans overseeing it, but it's moving from people managing people to people managing agents, and things continuing to move quickly.
Yeah. That sounds really interesting, and hearing about, I mean, currently as a postgrad, we hear about, the traditional like outlook of a corporate landscape with, people managing people, but hearing about people managing agents is something that's so interesting and so fascinating, to see what that will look like in the future. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing. And that sounds awesome and leads into my next and last question. With AI rapidly evolving, how do you think upskilling in areas like AI is shaping the future of tech careers? And what steps can professionals take to ensure that they stay ahead in a AI-driven world?
Sure. I'd say look for what you do now that can be automated, and find the tools, again, that are safe and secure, in your own work environment, whether that's your university, your school, or at your job, where you can create more space for yourself to think, to plan, to collaborate, to do the things that are really uniquely human, and automate the things that are not. So I would say look at things that can help you do summarization of documents, take notes, create to-do lists, all of those things that are very manual, but also very easily automated. Learn to do that now. The estimate is that about 30% of work that you do can be automated, but that frees up time for teamwork. We're all talking about, return to the office these days, and we're back together. Time to plan, time to think, time to innovate, right? We're all pressed for time, and that's where learning the skills that will allow you to leverage AI tools to free up time where you can really lean into your human skills. That's the thing that's going to keep you ahead of the game.
Yeah, 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 that's awesome. And that is so interesting to think about. Like, what are we doing today that can be kind of offloaded to AI so we can really spend our thinking time on solving challenging problems and really making sure that we're getting that collaboration in and things that cannot be automated or given to AI. So that's definitely very awesome and interesting kind of step and kind of I would say procedures to take when thinking about the future of AI and what that looks like in our workplace. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for your time, Lydia. It's been so wonderful to chat with you today and hear about your journey. And I think personally, as someone who's really passionate about computer science pedagogy and seeing how technology is rapidly evolving, hearing about your journey is so inspiring and so interesting to hear your takes and your opinions and your predictions. So I really appreciate your time, and I know that our community does too. So yeah, thank you so much. Everyone, be sure to drop a whole bunch of clapping emojis in the
Thank
chat.
you so much. Thanks for having me. I love it. I love Girls Who Code. We're thrilled to be partners with you. Feel free to drop me a note on LinkedIn. I'm happy to, chat, but check out Skills Build again. It's a place to get started, things you can learn. And IBM is working with partners around the world. So, please follow us and we'll be looking out for you.
Yeah, I know I'll be making my account today. So
Excellent.
I'm excited.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
And we're
everyone. And
so glad to
happy
have
Women's
you.
History Month.
Yes. Happy Women's History Month. And thank you so much, Lydia.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone, and
Bye.
see you next Wednesday.